Folks, it's the hot summertime. We're watering grass. We're gonna talk to you about how to save your pastures and about why the dry times are super important for your farm, for your pastures, for your garden, and for your lawn. All right, farm fans, welcome back to the Stoney Ridge Farm Channel. Be sure you're subscribed. You're gonna miss out on something. We're out here on a 150-acre first-generation farm, and I'm here to talk to you about the dry times. This is the most worrisome time of year for anybody who is farming or ranching or growing a garden or trying to keep a green lawn. This is the most horrible time of the year. It is hot. It is mid to late June all the way through July, and we're here in North Carolina, and we always have a hot spell like we're having right now, where temperatures are between 85 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The grass is getting dry, the grass is getting crunchy, the grass looks like it's gone into senescence, meaning that it's not growing, but what it's doing down below ground is something that's super important, and this is why dry weather is super important for your forage or for your lawn and or your garden. What happens is the top layer of soil, in other words, probably the top 5 to 6 inches, and you guys have all seen this when you look out across barren land, and this is newly sown land right here, but you look out across bare land or land with grass and you see cracks in the soil, and those cracks can be anywhere from 2-3 inches wide to just little tiny cracks in the soil. What that's doing is telling you the soil surface is dry, but deep down in the soil it's not dry. So what we're trying to accomplish in the summertime, in the summer heat, in which your grass and forage and pastures are trying to accomplish, is setting down deeper roots, which is helping to break that hard pan. And let me explain that to you. Your grass in the springtime on any farm or on any lawn or anywhere, your grass, your garden, all that stuff vigorously grows. It really vigorously grows. Why is it growing that vigorously? Because down in the soil, in the first 4 to 6 inches is moisture, and that root system is spreading out all in the ground, right there, right on the surface of the ground. Now, what's happened? When those roots are starving for water, what do? They're no longer spreading out on the ground, right? They're going deeper. And that's why dry times are super important for your pastures and for your gardens. You're driving down the root system into your soil, thus loosening your soil and providing more biomass down in your soil. So let's think about this from a clover standpoint. Clover is known to fix nitrogen. Clover gets little nodules on it, and those nodules pull nitrogen from the air into the soil. If the roots of the clover are only this deep, then they're only feeding this much of your soil. If we have dry times like we have right now, that fescue, that wild grasses, all those different grasses that you have that are out there on your property are trying to struggle to get down deeper into the soil. And what's that doing? Pushing roots down, building root systems, and building your soil and making better quality forage. Now, what does this mean? What happens when it rains? What do you guys see when we have a very dry spell in the summertime? And we have this everywhere. Wyoming, Idaho, Utah. It doesn't matter if you're in Indiana. It doesn't matter where you are, right here in North Carolina, Southwest Virginia. You're gonna have dry times every single year, and you need to know that if you've got animals, you're probably gonna have to feed a little bit of hay. You're gonna have to stretch the time out between grazing periods, and it's very, very important to not overgraze, and or if we're talking about your lawn, to over prune. In other words, grazing is pruning, and clipping your yard is pruning, and mowing your pastures is pruning. You want to keep at least 5 to 6 inches of good quality forage or good quality lawn up. You want to keep those solar panels up. That sun is still feeding that plant, and that plant needs that sunlight to drive those root systems into the ground. So here's what I do when it comes to the hot summertime, which it is right now. Today's high temperature is going to be about 94 degrees. Here's what we do. We don't move the cows on to new pasture every single time. We choose a point in our farm that the cows have plenty of shade, plenty of access to water, and we simply sacrifice it. We simply overgraze it and we sacrifice it. When we overgraze it, we are stunting the growth of that grass. Also, when we overgraze it, we are stunting the root system of that grass. So you've got to think about that. Now, I have the cattle, the animals that I have now, on about a 15-acre section of property over here, and it is my sacrifice. I'm rolling out 3 bales of hay to 50 cows every single day, and I'm feeding the land with that hay and feeding the land with the manure and the urine from the cattle. But you gotta think about this, guys. Leave those pastures alone. The tendency would be to put your animals in a larger paddock and let them graze it all down to the nub where it's about that high. You need that little solar panel to help stimulate that root growth, to help push those roots down deeper in the soil and to help build your soil. So I'm here to tell you that if you don't overgraze, if you don't cut your yard too low, then what this dry spell is going to do is help your lawn or help your pastures or help your garden to thrive by driving down the root system. I don't know if any of you guys have ever thought about this in this manner, but the dry times are just as important as the wet times. Right now, my farm is working for me. My pastures are working for me. And if I overgraze them, I take the cows out and I graze it down to the nub, it's going to ruin it. So I stall the cattle, and when I stall the cattle in one spot, a sacrifice spot, they won't be back for at least 45 days. That time between grazing will give it recovery time. If you overstimulate your entire farm, you will be struggling all the way through September to keep your grass growing green. And the same goes with your lawn. So let it grow. Let that sunlight hit that grass. Mow it a little higher than you usually would. Don't overgraze. And remember, hot times are super important for building quality forage or building a quality lawn or building a quality garden. You've got to stress that plant out enough to where it starts sending down roots and trying to build that soil, breaking that hard pan. And when it does rain, you'll hear the grass. You'll go outside and you'll just hear it going, ee! Just trying to grow, guys. I hope this little video helped you. I know you're probably watching this because you're super struggling with really dry times right now. It's hot, it's dry, it does this every summer, and there's a reason behind it. It sends down roots deeper and deeper into the soil so that you establish a better root system and a better plant. And in the fall, when the wet season comes in, your land will pay you dividends way beyond what you ever thought. Don't overgraze it. Don't clip your lawn too short. Don't overwater your garden. Let it work. You're stimulating root growth. That's what we're doing right now. And in the fall, when the ground gets wet again, it will get wet deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, guys, and it will help break up soil compaction. It'll send those roots down deeper, and you'll have better quality forage and a better lawn and or a better garden on your property. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I don't know if you've ever thought about this. This is what I think about when I'm sitting in my house bored wondering, man, I've got to get these cows moved. There's a whole lot of grass over here, but it's not growing. It's crunchy, it's dry. Let it rest. Don't bother it. And let those roots do what they're supposed to do. Get down and break up that hard pan, reduce soil compaction, and grow better forage next year. Thank you guys so much. Hit that like button. We'd love to see you back here on the Stoney Ridge Farm with me. All right, take care. Beautiful day. And we're watering. Using this here on your property, this here over here, he couldn't get enough water. Died of the dehydration. I'm gonna get an air conditioner and put in one of these windows today. It's getting hot in there, so I am not in there.